Hi, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always, a huge thank you for joining me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan. Regular viewers and subscribers may recognise the scenery behind me. I'm back at this private permission, this private woodland that I'm able to come out and spend overnighters here and do some bushcraft skills. I started coming out here in February. I came out again in March and I brought my little lad with me. I didn't get out here in April, although I was out for 6 nights solid in April elsewhere in East Sussex doing a bushcraft course with Paul Kirtley from Frontier Bushcraft, and it's now the last weekend of May, so I wanted to get back out again, and here I am. I've come back to this location. I'm not alone. You may not be surprised to find out that I've got my Padawan with me. Here he is again, just hanging off the bottom of the frame there. Do you want to shuffle in a bit closer? There he is. So this is Finley. He's turned 9 now. He was 8 last time he was on camera. He's 9 now. Feel any different?
No.
No. Feel bigger, taller,
yeah,
stronger. He feels a bit taller and bigger and stronger, which is brilliant. So the last time we were on camera together, Finley was working towards achieving one of Dave Canterbury's online youth programs, and he was going for the Trailblazer program. How did you get on with it?
Yep.
Passed it? Yeah, he's done it, he's finished it, which is brilliant. He was the first person actually to submit all of the evidence and gain it, which is brilliant. Well done, fella. And what have you moved on to now?
The Trekker.
Yeah, so it's a tiered program. Started off with the Trailblazer, he's ticked that. He's now moved on to the Trekker program. We've done several of the deliverables at home or out in our local area, but there were several where it made sense to come away, spend a bit of time to get them right, in the right environment, which is clearly where we are today. So do you want to let us know what you're wanting to tick off over the next few days? What do you want to get done?
I want to make char cloth.
Yeah, char cloth.
I want to set up a tarp.
Yeah, and it's not as easy as it sounds, is it? There's a lot of parts involved in setting up a tarp. Can you remember what the different parts are? What?
Prusik loop.
Yeah.
Feeding the cord through the top.
Yes.
The stakes.
Yeah, you've got to make tent pegs, you've got to make a prusik loop.
A vent hitch round the tree and a top tarp hitch.
Tarp hitch at the other end. So there's lots of parts involved, lots of skills involved with setting up a tarp, isn't there? There's all the knots and the tensioning and the tent pegs, which of course means you've got to carve the wood to make the tent pegs, which was one of the deliverables from the first level. So char cloth, setting up a tarp. What else have you got to do?
I've got to make a hot dinner.
Yeah, you're cooking tea tonight, which I'm happy about, although let's come back to that tomorrow morning, see if I was happy about him cooking tea tonight. Fingers crossed it won't go wrong. And what else?
Making a map of our camp.
Yeah, Dave wants you to do a little map of the 100 metre surrounding area, don't you?
Yeah.
So we understand what's around us. And if we've got time, what else are we going to keep an eye out for? We've nearly finished this deliverable, we've just got to find one more.
Animal sign.
Yeah, Dave's asked us to look for seven signs of animals and wildlife, and we've got 6 ticked off so far, and they're not all poo. So we're going to try and find a 7th one. So that's what Finley's hoping to get out of the next 24 hours or so, and of course that's why I've come out really, is to help him through those. From my perspective, what do I want to get out of it? You may recall back in the first video that I did back in February when I came to this location for the first time, I'll actually link to the series, the playlist of me coming out doing my overnighters up here. I talked about the fact that I always want to come out with something in mind, or something I want to practice or get to grips with or hone or unearth. And that's no different this time round. What do I want to get out of it? Well, I want to practice my feather sticks. I became okay at them on the bushcraft course. Okay, they worked, but they weren't the works of art that some of the Frontier Bushcraft team were creating. So I want to have a practice with feather sticks. I also want to, when I wake up tomorrow morning with a fire that's probably gone out, rather than just starting a fire from scratch, what I'm keen to do is to look at those embers that have been left and see if there's enough heat in them for me to blow those embers into flame with some decent tinder, or whether I can perhaps drop a spark onto them because they're essentially charred material and achieve it that way. So something I just want to tweak slightly tomorrow morning, have a little experiment with that rather than just starting a fire from scratch. And the other thing that I want to well, there's 2 other things. One is continual tree and plant identification. You know that I'm on a year-long masterclass. Again, I'll link to the series, the playlist up here. But what I also have brought out with me, and I'm so chuffed about this, is my dad, who can pretty much turn his hand to anything, has made me this amazing folding bow saw or book saw, I'm not sure which it is, bow saw I think, and he's made this based upon a blueprint, for want of a better word, that was in a recent Bushcraft magazine. So I sent him a photograph of the article, and he, a few weeks later, has come back to me with this. And who put this together today?
Me.
It was that simple to put together, wasn't it? Really, really simple. So I've seen lots of people using these. I've seen some very, very crafted people go out on video into the woods and create these from scratch, just on what's around them. Incredibly talented, probably far more patient than I am. But yeah, my dad made this, so I'm really looking forward to giving this a go out in the wild, and you know, and hopefully being able to take down some, or lop up some bigger pieces of timber than what I normally do with my Barco Laplander. So that's what we want to get out the day. I'm here, of course, to help Finley out, but as always, he's probably going to be doing a lot of the hard work himself because he likes to do that, and I'm going to be trying to tick off as many of the things that I want to get out of the way whilst we're here. I think the key thing with this particular trip is it's now the end of May, so we're only a few days away from June. The last time we were here were in March, which was, you know, it was a different season, let's be honest. Got darker much earlier. So I'm looking forward to perhaps being able to be up and active a little bit longer. I'm looking forward to the days not feeling as short and hopefully getting more of our time out of here. Of course, the flip side to that is it's much greener than it was last time, so there's not as much sun coming through, which could play off that idea that it's much lighter nights. So anyway, we'll keep checking back in. We'll keep, you know, the rest of this video will show how our time has unfolded, and we'll catch up with them again at the end, won't we?
Yeah.
Keep watching.
That way. It might.
Don't worry, it's where you're going to learn. Get it all shifted. Want to help you?
Okay.
I'll take that big piece. Right then, mister, so you have put up your tarp. What was the easiest part of doing it all?
It was the thing on the top.
The rope that goes along the top, the
Yeah.
paracord, that's the ridge line.
Ridge line.
And
yeah.
what part of it was the easiest?
Tying it around the trees.
Yeah, you did really well with that vent hitch, didn't you? You had that sorted in no time. What was the hardest part of doing it?
The guy lines and tightening the knot for the guy lines.
Yeah, I must admit, we've used bank line, haven't we, for those to keep the weight down, and it's quite hard on little fingers and hands to be able to pull those tight enough, so that's fair enough. And if you had to do it all again, what would you do differently?
I'd raise the
Ridge line?
yeah, the ridge line a bit higher.
Why would you do that?
Because I think I need a higher roof.
But what's the problem with doing that when you're only 9? You're not very tall as it is, are you? So you can only tie it as tall as you are, really.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. So well done, good effort. Another one ticked off. Hey folks, so as you can see, I've got my chef on the case in the background making Tex-Mex rice with chicken and some spices, so I'm looking forward to that, I think. Something that's kind of dawned on me, which is completely obvious when you stand back and think about it, but when I was last in these woods, when I first came into these woods, it was February, and then when I was last in them, it was March, and as I said at the beginning of this video, it was a lot less green than it was now, both at ground level and also up there. What's become quite obvious, and again, it's stating the bleeding obvious here, but earlier on this afternoon, me and Finley went out and we did a walk around the perimeter of this area, and he created a little sketch map and used his compass to work out bearings and things. And it was lovely to see how bright and sunshiny and lovely the afternoon was, until we came back in the woods and it was really sort of not dank and gloomy, but very, very dull and dim and much darker. So point for me to bear in mind in the future is if I'm going to establish one of these sorts of wild camps that I'm going to go back to time and time again, there may be some sense, there probably is a lot of sense, in trying to locate it somewhere where I can A, benefit from any shelter that's there, but B, also not too far from a glade or the edge of a clearing or something like that, so I can also benefit when it's this time of the year and we've got the lightness and the brightness and the sunshine and all the niceness that goes with that. So point to note for myself. How's the tea coming on?
Bubbling.
Bubbling. How's tea coming on? It's bubbling, which of course could mean many, many things. Is it black and bubbling?
What does that mean?
Is it burnt? Have you just knocked the pot off the toggle into the fire?
Yes.
Yes, he has. And he did it live on camera as well, so we can't blame me. The good thing is it actually dropped vertically, so we haven't spilt anything. But we caught it live on camera. So I'm now going to go eat this bubbling tea, and we'll report back later. If I don't report back later, clearly I've died of food poisoning. So keep your fingers crossed for me. Up to you. Come on this side, we'll put some on together.
Yeah.
Set that batting down, I'll meet in the middle.
Okay.
Needs to be over the fire, darling.
What do you mean?
Pull that one along, put it over the fire. Yeah, it's going to slip off.
They'll blow this side.
That's all right. And good morning from Taylor Towers. Well, this is the morning after the night before, and what a night it was. It started raining at about midnight, and I mean severe torrential heavy downpours, thunder, lightning. For those of you that are in the UK and around the southeast of the UK, this is the May Day bank holiday, the end of May, so you may recall just how bad those thunderstorms and lightning and rain was. So that was last night. This is this morning. Because of the downpour last night, my fire, which is just down here, was absolutely sodden. It was like a puddle this morning. So I kissed goodbye to what I'd hoped to achieve this morning, which was to take a piece of charred wood, drop a spark onto it, and then blow that into life with a tinder bundle. However, what I'm really pleased that I did was we went for a walk last night, went out for a couple of hours. When we came back, the fire had completely had it, and I did it then. I actually took a lump of charred wood, dropped a spark onto it, blew it into flame, and we had a late night hot chocolate. So I applied the principle, and it worked, and it worked really, really well. I'm definitely going to try that again if I get out of this alive. However, I didn't get the chance to do it this morning because of that heavy downpour that we had last night. So that's last night and this morning. How did you get on? Have you got on over the past day or so?
Yeah, good.
What have you done?
We've made char cloth.
Yeah.
We've made a map of...
With the char cloth, how did you go about doing it? What did you do?
We got some cotton.
Yeah.
Some white cotton, and we put it in a tin, and then we put it in the fire, and we waited until it had burnt, and then we take it out. We put our hand over it. If it's warm, then we leave it. If it's cold, we touch it, and if that's warm, we leave it. Then if it's cold, we open it up, and then hopefully it made char cloth.
And had it?
Yeah. And
we certainly have. Yeah, so Finney's made his first char cloth. It was quite easy, wasn't it, really? And then what did you do after that?
We made a map of our camp.
Yeah, one of the things that Dave Canterbury wants him to do is to do a 100-metre square area around our camp, which wouldn't have been very interesting, to be honest, because if you kind of go 100 metres either way, it's just a really thick, unmanaged, really in need of coppicing sort of wood, so there's not a lot to see. So we actually found a track, didn't we, that give or take 100 metres, that runs around some interesting features. Now, what things did we see on the track? What things did you note down on your map that you noticed?
A bench.
Yeah, there was a bench.
A few lakes.
Yeah.
Or streams. There was a pond.
Yeah. What did you use a lot when you were making your map?
The compass.
Yeah, you used your compass a lot so you could understand what direction you was facing. So we did the char cloth, we did the map, what else?
We went for a midnight walk.
It wasn't quite midnight, but it was late, wasn't it?
And we found some. We think it's deer tracks.
Yeah, we went for a walk for a couple of hours around the estate, and we found some tracks that we've never seen before. We noticed lots of tracks on that track that I haven't got a clue what they are, to be honest. I'm terrible at that sort of thing. So we've taken some good photographs. We'll bring them up on screen now. If you think you know what they are, do feel free to drop comments below. Lazy Googler that I am. If you've got an idea what they might be, drop them into the comments below. That'd appreciate it. But we're going to go home and research those, aren't we?
Yeah.
And what else have you done? What were we making last night when we recorded the video? And it fell.
Forgot.
Tea.
Oh yeah.
Finley made his Tex-Mex rice with chicken and some spices in there. And that was absolutely fine. He made a really good job of that. He did the whole thing himself, adding the water, then mixing it, and making it sure it wasn't sticking. All of that. So he did a really good job, and I'm looking forward to him doing it tonight when I get home. I think Sunday roast will be in order. Just a little step up from there. So in terms of me, we've used the book saw that my dad made for me. Thanks again, Dad. Haven't used it a lot because we didn't have that thicker piece of wood to lop up, to be honest, but there were one or two where I've used it, and it just sliced through it. Far less effort than using the Barco Laplander, which I haven't got on me, but far less less effort than using that. You gave it a try, didn't you?
Yep.
You found it a bit tough, didn't you?
And then you told me some tips, and then I got.
Yeah. It's a bit tough because the log wasn't in the best position to be perfect. It was okay for me. I could manoeuvre the log to work, but it was a bit difficult for Finley to cut it at the angle that I'd given it to him at. But not to worry. Did some tree and plant ID. Continually walking around here, even if I'm not able to identify it and say that is a this or that is a that. I know that I've seen it before. I know that I can go and reference it quite quickly, and I'm also starting to spot, which I'm sure Paul will be pleased about, of which sort of family they fall into. So rather than just saying that is that's a beech, or that's a birch, or that's a that's a forget-me-not or anything like that, I can actually I'm starting to be able to sort of put them into very, very broad families, which is no bad thing. So we're just cooking up some bacon at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then we're going to head home and go see Mummy and Evie. And that'll be it for another overnighter. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed watching the video, if there's something in it that you found amusing or funny, or just something in there that we've talked about that you found interesting, please do give it the thumbs up. If you think there's anybody in your network that would enjoy watching it, anybody in one of your Facebook groups or your Twitter followers or anything like that, always happy if you would share it. I'd always appreciate that. And as always, if you're not yet a subscriber, just down here in this bottom corner there should be a subscriber button. Please do click on that so you don't miss out. Where was it?
Here.
Just here, so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks for watching from me, and thanks for watching from
me.
Cheers.
Bye.